Hello, hello, I'm the official narrator. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today, we're looking at Absol. I've got a good feeling about Absol, but let's see if that feeling is correct. Alright, I'll acknowledge these three together. Firstly, with Eclipse, we've seen this multiple times. I believe Umbreon was probably one of the first. And then for Lunatone and Solrock, if you want to take those directions, that's fine. That's whatever. I understand pairing it with a Dark type. I get where you're coming from. Everest, which, I see where your mind's at, but I still don't really care for it that much. And then Scarlet, which we've seen in the past, and I personally I prefer the spelling with the K, because then it's like, hey, Mortal Kombat! And then that, there's no who the fuck is Scarlet. Just for instance, this way it's proof that it's the first thing you see on Google, and it's not a common spelling. That's only applicable to the shiny variant, so if you don't have it shiny, it's not even worth talking about. I'll acknowledge Harbinger. I personally don't care for it in the slightest. I understand where it's coming from, but I just don't really like the sound of it. If you don't mind it and you think it sounds cool, that's fine. Reaper, we've seen this before a few times, usually with things that also have scythe-like appendages. Kabutops being the one I personally use mine for. If you wanted to use it for Absol, that's fine too. Usually I ignore most deity bullshit because it just takes up too much time and it's too common. But this one I'll acknowledge because I know it's going to be mentioned to me as well, and because I remember Chugga Conroy naming his after Pandora as well. It's just cliche god shit. I kind of like Dark Knight, though. I don't know. Something about it I'm just alright with. Suddenly, that turns Absol from being like this demonic, dangerous Pokemon into being like the biggest emo kid, and it makes you feel pity for it. It's like, there's probably fan art somewhere out there of like a crying Absol with the words, "Why me?" Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and just acknowledge these all at once. I've already seen Chaos, and personally I think Chaos is kind of a basic word. It's just not that interesting. Cataclysm sounds okay, but in the vein of other synonyms that also work, Pandemonium and Carnage. These are all fine. I personally use Carnage. That is based off the Spider-Man villain, and also because my brother had a toy who he named Carnage after the Spider-Man villain. It fits the personality, it works with what Absol is meant to be. I just think Carnage sounds good, Cataclysm sounds good, Chaos just sounds boring to me. But all that kind of stuff is fine. So I definitely remember naming mine Megadeth, and then I forgot I named mine Megadeth, but I definitely didn't get it from here. Because eventually I went with Megadeth for Skarmory, because I was just like, pick random band. I haven't used that one yet, that'll work. And then later I came back and saw Absol was named that, and I was like, I don't remember doing that. And I don't ever remember looking this up either, so that's a funny thing. Spelled without the A. Abyss is just an appealing sounding word. I know we've seen this one in the past for previous episodes. You want to use it, that's fine too. Omen's not bad either. That also works kind of, both of them work Binding of Isaac, Bayonetta style. Omen I think works a lot better than Abyss though, because it foretells of danger. Dark Matter I have written down because I saw that in a previous episode, so great minds think alike, I guess, this guy and whoever else put it. That's fine. Personally, I think of Kirby, but also Dark Matter is just kind of a sciencey term thing too. Like, I know they incorporated Dark Matter into the Galaxy games. So yeah, that's fine. I'm all about it. Apocalypse, same vein as like Carnage, Cataclysm, Omen, Abyss. Like, they all work the same. We see Apocalypse quite a few times. This is a good choice if you wanted to use Apocalypse. Other people also think of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Armageddon, literally same vein. You want to take that direction, that's fine too. Doomsday is okay. I personally use Mayday for Umbreon. They're not too different. Disaster is naming the Pokemon what it is. It's called the Disaster Pokemon. Not the Chaos Pokemon, not the Carnage Pokemon, not the Pandemonium Pokemon, not the Cataclysm Pokemon, not the Catastrophe Pokemon, but the Disaster Pokemon. So pick literally any other synonym but that one. Pandora we've already talked about. Angelica, personally I'm not super religious educated, so quick Google searches like Mother Angelica talks about guardian angels, so I don't know how true this is. Someone might need to educate me. Regardless, Angelica is just any other girl's name. Angelica was the name of the girl in the Rugrats. Like, plus, Mega Evolutions are dead, so it doesn't matter anyway. Okay, so we've reached the bottom. We found a... Oh, well, let me scroll. We found a lot of nicknames. It follows basically a pretty basic theming of different words for disaster. And bringing up the comments, the two that were suggested was Calamity and Crisis. Also work the same way. Checking my little list. Hysteria is a different one. But yeah, it was like Hysteria, Omen, Cataclysm, Calamity, Crisis, Chaos, Pandemonium. I personally use Carnage. And then the other two that weren't that I liked were Dark Matter and Dark Knight. So that's basically the theming here. Absol is kind of easy, but if you don't like that and you want something a little bit more original than Synonyms, a band is probably a good place to start. Generic dark type nicknames are a good place to start. But other words, I mean, I like the nicknames. I think they sound fine, but, you know, that's just me. Anyway, anything you guys can think of or have used or would recommend, put in the comments below. Give a thumbs up to the ones that you think are good. And hopefully no more disaster comes our way.